Okay, Madam Chair, we are recording.
Buenos Day. Welcome to the regular Guam Hybrid Land Use Commission. Today is August 14th on a Thursday at the Department of Land Management Conference Room. It is now 1:32 on my clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Let's begin with roll call, beginning with myself, Anita Enriquez, the chairperson, vice chairperson, Ron Paglina. Thank you. Commissioner Leilani Flores. Thank you. Commissioner Geraldine.
Here.
Thank you very much. We also have present other commissioners, Mayor Francis Luzon. Mayor Jean Gloss. Thank you. Mayor Luis Rivera. Thank you. Let's see if I don't see other Mayor Peter Benavente here. Executive Secretary Joseph Wolf.
President.
Thank you. Deputy Director Rosanna Tiston.
Thank
Thank you. Legal Counsel Lee Miller.
Present.
Thank you. Guam Chief Planner Celine Cruz.
Present.
Thank you, planning staff. We do have a quorum for today's meeting. And I just like to remind everyone that today's meeting is being live streamed on the YouTube at Guam Department of Land Management channel. The next order of business is the approval of minutes for approval before the Guam Hybrid Land Use Commission at the regular meeting minutes of July 24, 2025. The members have been furnished the draft of the minutes in advance, and at this time, I will entertain a motion for action. I'm going to make a motion. Thank you very much. A motion made by Commissioner Flores. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Commissioner Yingling. Any errors or omissions? Any discussion on the minutes? Okay, I don't see any. All in favor of approving the minutes of July 24, 2025, please signify by saying aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
Okay, it is unanimous. The minutes are approved. We do not have any old or unfinished business. I shall proceed on item 4 under new business before the Hybrid Commission is a conditional use application, application number H2025-19. The applicant, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, represented by GHD Incorporated, is requesting a conditional use permit for the proposed construction of a 2-story, 9-unit patron housing facility and an accessory plant nursery on lot 7111 South in the Municipality of Yigo in a C commercial zone in the Municipality of Yigo. The case planner is Ms. Sunny Godwee. So I see that we have representatives at the table. For the record, please state your name.
Hi, buenas day, committee members. I'm Joe Paglina. I'm from GHD and project manager. I'm here representing also, I'm a representative for the church for this project.
We see the GHD.
Thank you very much. Welcome, and you may proceed with your presentation.
Buenas day again. I just want to thank you all for letting us present this project. Hopefully I don't bad, you know. Thank you again for letting us present this project to you. This is for like I said, the conditional use application to a patron housing facility for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Before I start, I just want to, thank land management, because we know that this whole process actually starts at their office, right? And so they've actually been patient guiding us through this process. So, Ms. Sunny, Frank, Sabor, your staff, that's excellent, helping us through this process. And in doing so, we also kind of gained some additional historic knowledge about the property. So we're pretty thankful for that. And while I'm at it also, I just want to introduce another member from the Church of Latter-day Saints that's here, Mr. Tony Brown, who is the temple facility manager. So he's here as well for the church. And so, yes, the project is probably most of you already know where this project is located at. It's up in Yigo. It's right there at the cross streets of Malala Drive and Route 1 Marine Corps Drive. Can't miss it. You're going up to Anderson, you'll see that one building with the super there. So what I'd like to do is I will. Okay, already. Okay, there you go. What I'd like to do is just talk a little bit about the, the existing facilities that are there and background behind it. So to give you better perspective of, the significance of this, patron housing and why it's significant to the members. So I'll talk a little bit about that and then I'll get into the project itself. Just. So, a little background about the site itself, right? They originally had one main facility there. It was a CMU structure, had a metal roof building. It was there for like over 50 years. And we know what those facilities look like after 50 years, right? So, the wear and tear of the island here, the storms and all that. So, it went through its fair wear and tear of the facility. But in addition to that, the church needs also have grown. The membership has grown actually, and it's not just a facility that would be used by just, residents of Guam, but also it's also extended to the other areas, Palau, Chu, Pastoray, CMI ends. So that's kind of how that, need for it growth, develop. And so what the church decided to do was just tear down the old facility and develop the entire site for something that would be appropriate for their growing needs. And so what they did was they came out with a plan to develop the site into multiple phases. One was to build a temple, and if you're familiar with the Church of Latter of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the temple is a significant part of their faith. It's a place where it's a pristine building where they actually have various significant important functions, right, for the members. And up until 3 years ago, there was no temple here in Micronesia. So this is the first time that they've actually had a temple for their members that would be used by not only the residents of Guam, but also for the outer islands, Palau, Chu, CMB. And so that temple really is the catalyst for the entire development of the site. So in addition to that, the next phase was to build a meeting house. The meeting house is a multi-function facility. It serves multiple uses. It's the main place of worship. It's an educational facility. They have classrooms there. It's also a social hall and it's also a place of recreation. And so those two facilities were just recently constructed within the last 2 years. So those are what you would see on the site right now. And so this next phase is to develop a patron housing to support all the members of the church. But before I get into the patron housing, I just want to say a few things about the site itself, because before we even broke ground on any construction on the site, the church wanted to make sure that because we were developing the site, that we were also being good stewards. They wanted to make sure that this development was not going to be something that would create have an adverse impact. We know that, you go further to the west, right, there's that housing development, there's a housing establishment there. And further to the south, there's proposed housing development there as well. And then of course, there's rural development. And so, we looked at that and then we said, well, let's do a due diligence study to look at kind of the big factors and make sure that, if there were any concerns that we would have time to address it. And so the due diligence study looked at the cultural aspects of it, the environmental impact. We also looked at the stormwater runoff there, because obviously this is a huge lot. It's about 5.7 acres. So, flooding, making sure that nothing was spilling over into other property for those who are concerned. We also looked at the infrastructure, power, water, sewer. Wanted to make sure that this development was not going to be drawn and do that in a negative way. And then, of course, that area along Marine Drive, that's a high traffic area. On any given day, you're talking about 14,000 cars probably just in that area. So we did a traffic study to make sure that whatever we're doing was not gonna impact the traffic flow of that area. So, and then last but not least, you know, the church is very adamant about this, making sure that this project was gonna fit in with the community. Wasn't just gonna be a commercial, like, development that was not gonna be appropriate for, you know, residential. So you'll see that, you know, in the planning of this, we implemented a lot of landscaping, you know, to just sort of like soften the area and make it look a little bit more inviting to, you know, the residential area. So, going back to the study, you know, what we determined was for the cultural aspect and for the environmental effect, it was going to be minimal because the site wasn't ready developed before. So there was no major impact to that. And if there was, you know, thank God that, thank you. I wouldn't say that, but you know, thank goodness that, you know, as we were doing the construction for this project, you know, we didn't run across any artifacts or, you know, any major cultural with stop the project. And if we did, we had already made plans to coordinate that with DR and all the necessary government pieces. So no issues there. Now the stormwater runoff was a concern. So what we did was we had, you know, our design team come in, we hired a geotech engineer and a civil engineer to come up with a plan to divert all that water to a location to keep all that water runoff on the property. So if you look at the site plan there that I have on the screen, the north and the west sides, you know, we built a CMU wall there. On the north side, there's a retention pond. And on the south side, there was a retention pond. So all of that was, you know, part of the design to make sure that none of the water runoff was affecting any of the adjacent properties. And having gone through Typhoon Mawar, I guess you can say it works. You know, it's working the way that we have planned it to work. So I think we're pretty confident with that planning services needs. In terms of the infrastructure, the sewage, obviously that's a given. You know, we're near the aquifer, septic tanks were out of the question. We did work with Guam Water Works already as we were doing these two projects. And, you know, we determined that the sewage line that's out there is adequate, more than adequate to support these facilities. So all the facilities that are out there that require plumbing have direct connection to the pump. Use, you know, the sewer lines. Now the water was kind of interesting. The water supply line for the site. You know, what we're going through the process. We worked with GWA again. You know, we determined that it is sufficient to support all the facilities there. However, what the church did was it took it one step further. On the north side, they built an underground cistern to support all the facilities. So what that does is it allows us to just use 1 meter and 1 water line that goes to the cistern, and then from the cistern, that cistern supports all the facilities, the temple, the meeting house, and then the patron housing would also be a facility that was supported by that system. And the good thing with that is that even, you know, in peak hours, you know, the idea was that it would really stress the water supply system that's supporting all the, you know, the housing units in the backside there. So it's been in existence for 3 years. We haven't heard any complaints about it, so I think it's doing what it's supposed to do so far. And then in terms of the power, GPA did come out there and install a new transformer for the site. So we're using that transformer now to provide power for all the facilities on the site. We do have a backup generator there so that in case that, you know, there is a need for it, we have the ability to, you know, take that stress off the power grid. So that's what we did with the infrastructure. Now, the traffic study, we did do a traffic study for that area. And, you know, we concluded that really it's going to be very minimal impact for a couple of reasons. One is the use of those facilities actually is used from 6 to 9 in the evening during the weekdays. So, it's off-peak hours, so you're not gonna have traffic flow in and out of that site. What we also did was, we created an entry exit from Marine Corps Drive and an entry exit from Walnut Drive. We maximized parking as much as we could. We wanted to make sure that there was no parking on streets. So you'll see that there's so many stalls, but it's like 150 stalls there, which was more than adequate. So we looked at it as more than adequate for those facilities. And so that was part of the planning that went into. We used very conservative numbers when we designed that parking stalls for this facility. So those were the mitigation factors that we took from the course. We put it into the design, and for that we built temple and everything else. So now what we're asking to do is build the patron housing facility, which is this next phase. And so what you see on the screen here right now is the area where patron housing will be located. It's a 2-story concrete facility, roughly about 14,700 square feet. Of course, that being said, all those facilities, we also need a grounds maintenance building. So right slightly to the north of that is the grounds maintenance building. And then we have security for the site, but right now the security guards are just sort of either in their car or they're just kind of sitting under one of the facility sheds, right? And so we put a little guard check there at the entry to the site. And so what we also did with this is, and this just kind of shows you how committed and how serious the church is to making sure that the appearance of the site is presentable and looks aesthetic at all times. Again, I mentioned that it's about fitting into the community and making sure that they're setting a good example. We are putting in a cat nursery because there is a lot of landscaping around the site, and so what they want to do is just want to have a small nursery so that they can propagate plants in case they need to replace damaged landscaping around the site. And so that was the intent behind it. So on the back side of the patron housing, we would like to just put it's a non-permanent structure. It just basically affects the some propagation of the landscaping plants. And then and I'll talk a little bit about this later too. What we're looking at is this facility being more sustainable friendly. So we are going to be implementing solar panels into this building. So that would be one way that we kind of reduce some of the power off the power grid for this area. What the church is looking at right now is whether it's feasible to do that for all the facilities on the property. And so if it is, we'll probably put a power bank, power storage bank on the back side of the property. We have enough space to do it there, but again, this is something that we are also coordinating with GPA to make sure that we meet all their requirements as well, right? So we're actively looking at that. The contractor and the designers that we're working with are familiar with GPA's requirements. So all of that has kind of gone into the plan for this. So okay. And then here, if you see, this is just a kind of blow up of the utilities. What we had to do also was because we put the new patron housing on this backside there, obviously it offset some of the flow of the the stormwater runoff. So we did put a small retention pond on the backside of the property, which really it's still tied into the main retention pond at the front of the property. So you'll see that retention pond right there. And this just shows you that we're connecting to a public sewer line that's going to be right there along the Walnut Drive. Again, that's more than adequate to support the facility in its current condition. So we're not looking at having to upgrade any utilities along that. And if you have any questions as I'm going along, please, you're up, you know, I might talk too much, but. But I just want to say also, here's a picture of the landscaping around the house. You can see that actually we're actually putting a lot of landscaping around the patron house. You know, and so the idea is that, you know, we keep it simple, but we keep it elegant and fun. You know, but, and then this is a layout of the first floor. And so on the first floor, basically is all the administrative functions. There is going to be a dining area there for the use of most of the patrons. So we have a community kitchen as well. So there'll be small laundry room on the first floor, but other than that, most of the functions on the first floor are all administrators. And then on the next slide, this is on the second floor is where we have all the sleeping quarters. There's about 9 sleeping units. 6 of them are dormitory style units, so we'll have like 3 to 4 beds to each of those. And then there are 3 units that are set up for more of the durational staff. And so what I forgot to mention is that, you know, this patron housing is going to be used for the members. It's not never going to be rented. It's intended to be used by the congregation, members of the congregation, which are coming from, you know, the outer islands. Most of them will be here for 3 to 5 days, so they're not going to be here very long. So the intent is that, you know, they're here to stay for a short period and we can go back to, you know, where it's,
We'll just focus on the actual application.
yeah.
Yeah, we do have.
And then, here is the building section. Just to give you an idea of the general height of the building, you know, we're well within the requirements for this building. And then this is just, you know, to give you an idea of the property, the property. You know, we did modify the parking requirements on this. We actually went back and looked at what the requirements actually were based on what was actually built. And we came up with a number of like 118 parking stalls. So we actually left 128 parking stalls in there. And in addition to that, we added parking stalls for 2 buses. Now the buses are just there really to just drop off, you know, the guests, and then leave and then pick them up as we do. So that's the intent for that. And here's another view of the aerial view, just to give you an idea of, you know, the circulation through the site. View, and then the next view is, you know, how the building will look, right? And it's definitely simple but modern. Well, I think something that we felt good. Here's a view again of the grounds maintenance room. And then here's a view from the back side showing that, you know, where all those additional support facilities would be, including the plant nursery. So that's why you can reflect the back side. And it's not is same view from the front, from the northeast side. Perspective there. And then with that being said, I just want to say thank you again for allowing us to present this to you. And as you can see though, a lot of study went into this before we even started this construction. And so, you know, we did take a lot of consideration.
Thank you so much for that comprehensive presentation. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for providing the visuals so that we at least convert what we already have gone through.
Okay.
In color. But I do want to take this time to acknowledge and welcome another commissioner, Mayor Francis Gonzalez. Thank you, Mayor, for joining us. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so thank you, sir. Thank you for that wonderful comprehensive presentation. It gave us a lot of information. And thank you for the context. I do want to turn it over to my colleagues, our commissioners to see if you have any questions for the applicant's representative. Commissioner Yeaman?
I just have one question. It's out of curiosity. How large is the cistern?
It's about 19,000 gallons.
That'll supply the entire facility? Is that a constant feed or on demand feed?
It's on demand feed right now.
Okay. But nothing.
Any other questions? You answered the question that I had, that I would have asked regarding, are you going to, provide an opportunity for the public to rent any of those rooms? But the answer apparently is no. Yeah, any other questions, to our neighbors? Yeah, okay, thank you so much. I now want to turn it over to, Chief Planner Thurs, for a presentation. Ms. Bogley, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be reading the staff report dated August 6, 2025. The subject lot is a corner lot fronting Route 1 in Milalek Drive with a lot area of 5.8 acres. The site is presently developed with an existing temple, meeting house, paved parking, perimeter fence, and the landscaping is well maintained. The master plan designation was mixed use, and under the community design plan, the area was designated as urban residential low density. Previous commission action included a conditional use permit for a meeting house consisting of a chapel, cultural hall, and classrooms for church functions, and a zone variance for a freestanding sign that was approved by the commission on December 2nd, 1986. The application was accepted on March 13, 2025, heard by the ARC on April 3rd, 2025, and a public hearing was held on June 25, 2025. On to discussion and staff analysis. Pursuant to Section 61303 of the Guam zoning law, the proposed patron housing facility is an accessory use to the church and is permitted upon approval by the commission of the site plan, including but not limited to disposal of sewage, access, parking, structural location, dimensions of the building, impacts of the proposed use on adjacent land uses, and accompanying covenants that may include performance standards. The commission shall also consider such other elements as may be reasonably related to the health, safety, and general welfare of the community. For the site plan, as submitted in the application package, the site plan includes the proposed two-story patron housing facility, a grounds maintenance building, plant nursery, retention basin, and additional parking. These are in addition to the existing meeting house, temple, paved parking, infiltration, ponds, and perimeter fence. The residential housing facility will include kitchen and dining areas, restrooms, laundry facilities, and a landscaping plan. The housing facility will be connected to the existing public sewer system along Milalek Drive. And the two-story residential facility will be approximately 14,746 square feet with a building height of 26 feet and 6 inches and will meet setback requirements. Parking will consist of 128 shared stalls, including designated ADA compliant parking spaces. These spaces will serve the three primary facilities on the lot, which are the housing facility, the meeting house, and temple, and will also include 2 designated bus parking stalls. Regarding the impact of proposed uses on adjacent lands, including the public's health, safety, and general welfare factors, as provided by the applicant, the following response is in reference to Section 61303 of the zoning law. Based on the existing land uses within the area, which include residential uses and neighboring undeveloped property, the housing facility will be a modest but contemporary facility designed to complement the existing temple and meeting house. The property will be landscaped with tropical vegetation, enhancing the site's appearance and contributing to a well-maintained, aesthetically pleasing neighborhood presence. Based on our review and analysis of the form and context of this application, in reference to the zoning law, the no objection from the public hearing, the Yigo Municipal Planning Council Resolution number 2025-05, which is in support of the application, and the favorable responses from the ARC agencies, we have concluded that the proposed use is compatible with existing uses in the area, which was designated as mixed use, and will integrate well into the community. Additionally, an inquiry letter from Julie and Jacob Perez has been submitted in which the applicant's representative has provided a response for clarification and a commitment in maintaining a good appearance of the property. Therefore, it is our findings that the requested conditional use is in line with the requirements of Section 61303 of the zoning law, and we find it proper to be considered favorably by the Commission. Lastly, on to recommendation, we recommend approval with the following conditions as follows. A, that the applicant adhere to the ARC conditions and requirements as stipulated on their official position statement, and B, that there shall be no changes to the approved conditional use permit unless subjected before the ARC review and commission approval. And this concludes the staff report.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Gogwe. I now turn it back to my colleagues on the commission to see if you have any questions for staff. Thank you very much. I now open up the floor for public comment at this time relative to this application. I don't see any movement. I'll go ahead and close this segment for public comment, and I now take it back to the commission to see if you have any further discussion on this application. There being none, I will go ahead and entertain a motion for action for application number H2025-19. I hear a motion.
I would like to make a motion to approve application number H2025-19, as long as the applicant follows the recommendations stated on the staff report on August 6, 2025.
Thank you very much. Okay, a motion was made by Vice Chairman Pangilinan, seconded by Commissioner Lizama. Any discussion of this motion? There being none, all in favor of approving the motion to approve application H2025-19, please signify by saying aye and raising your right hand. Aye. It is unanimous. The application is approved. The motion carries. Thank you very much, and best wishes on this project. Yes.
Very much.
Madam Chair, can I
Yes.
ask a question not related to the application?
Okay.
You have your familial ancestral records at the Nike site, right? Church.
Yeah, they have there, we also have a little office in this.
So you will have those ancestral family records available, and is that available to the public?
It is available to public. You probably would need to find somebody to make an appointment with, because it's not always staffed, but we love helping people find the family history. That's something passionate about the church.
I don't know, those records kind of like the same with the ones you have in Utah.
Yeah, because of the internet, everybody has access to everything now.
All right, thank you.
I do want to highlight that the church has been very instrumental in building up this incredible database of the populations throughout the world and making those available. So,
Thank you. And then, Madam Chair, just one comment, a question to the staff here. I know that the application's 2025-19. When was the application submitted to land management? Just for context of time to process this application.
Well, accepted on March 13th, but originally received, we started our review in December of 2024.
So about 8 months.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, the next item on the agenda, there is none for administrative and miscellaneous matters. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn today's meeting. Okay, motion made by the Mayor Commissioner Rivera. Do I hear a second? Okay, seconded by Commissioner Mayor Blas. All in favor of approving the motion to adjourn, please signify by saying aye, raising your right hand. Aye. Aye, it is unanimous. The meeting's adjourned. I have 2:06 on our clock. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, everyone. We will take a little break before we begin our next meeting of the regular Guam Land Use Commission.
you ready, Madam Chair? We are recording.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Guam Land Use Commission. Today is August 14th, 2025. It is now 2:14 on our clock. I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order, beginning with roll call, beginning with myself, Anita Enriquez, chairperson, vice chairperson, Pangalina. You, Commissioner Leilani Horace. Thank you. Commissioner Gerald Yingling.
Present.
Thank you. Executive Secretary, Deborah. Thank you. Legal Counsel, Miller.
Present.
Thank you. Deputy Director Thyssen is on leave. Chief Planner Cruz
Present.
and planning staff are here. We do have a quorum. And I want to announce that the meeting is being live streamed on YouTube at Guam Department of Land Management channel. The next order of business is the approval of minutes before the commission. For approval are the Guam Land Use Commission regular meeting minutes of July 24, 2025. The members have been provided with a draft of the minutes in advance for their review. And at this time, I will go ahead and entertain a motion for action.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of July 24, 2025.
Thank you, Commissioner Flores. Do I hear a second? Thank you very much, Vice Chairman Pangalina. Any discussion on the minutes, any errors or omissions? If there are none, all in favor of approving the minutes of July 24, 2025, please signify by saying aye, raising your right hand. It is unanimous. The minutes are approved. There are no old or unfinished business. I shall proceed with item 4 on the agenda under new business. It is a zone change application number 2025-17. The applicants, Joel MC Rubio and Maria Paz Annette M, represented by FC Benavente planners, are requesting a zone change from R2 multiple dwelling zone to C commercial zone to convert an existing health clinic into an architectural and engineering office on lot 2114-11 in the Municipality of Tamuning. The case planner for this is Mr. Frank Titano. Let's see, we welcome the applicant's representative to the table. For the record, please state your name and you may proceed.
Madam Chair, my name is FC Benavente, representing the application on behalf of Dr. and Mrs. Rubio and Ma. We have few slides on the screen. The lot is, I showed there, bounded by orange and with the blue arrow. This is at the terminal point of Clovis Street. The horizontal line above is Marine Drive. I have another slide that's better than this. Again, the property, the subject property is in the orange box on the lower part of the slide. If you take Clovis Street over to Marine Drive on top, at the corner on the right is National Office Supply. And then you take that road in, the left of National Office Supply is a commercial building. Then there's a podiatry clinic right behind the commercial building, and then it takes you to the health clinic lot right now, which is the subject of this zone change application from R2 to C. The commission had previously approved a conditional use application for a health clinic in 2009 at this lot, and that is what presently is there. The property is being requested to be rezoned to commercial so that the use on the lot can be, it will allow engineering office on the property, which requires a commercial zone. This is a zoning map showing the lot compared to zoning in the vicinity. As you can see at the upper edge of this black square is the zoning line for commercial. So it is adjacent to a commercial zone, as shown there. Sorry, you couldn't put it in Zoom, mode, but right in front of the property is commercial. Drive. Again, this is a 750-foot radius map showing the uses around the property. Behind it is vacant. There's residences in the front. In the back is multifamily building. But the front towards Marine Drive is all commercial. The north side. This is a slide of the property map. This is the site plan of the lot as is. The zone change being submitted is not going to change any part of the structure. There is no land construction or renovation to the outside of the building. So basically the property will remain the same. The zoning will change. The interior of the building will easily morph into a engineering office. As you can see, the little stalls that were previously finished spaces are going to be used by people in the architect office. Conference room in the middle is for meeting clients, similar to a health clinic. So the interior of the building is not going to change dramatically. This is the picture of the building as it sits right now. As you can see, it is good-looking building, well-maintained, and presently being used for self-clinic by Dr. Rubio and Ma. There's another picture from the across the street on Thurs Street, facing towards Marine Drive. But you can see on the subject, the building, I mean, the lot is the left side where the entry gate is, but going towards Marine Drive is the health clinic, and after the building is another commercial building, and across the street from that building is National Supply. This is the gist of our presentation, Madam Chair. I'm here to entertain any questions that you can have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benavente. I now turn it over to my colleagues to see if you have any questions.
I do have a question. You know, there was a question about the flooding. Was that handled already?
Yes, actually, I have a couple of slides that we have. When the Land Use Commission approved the conditional use in 2009, there was a concern that the building may impede the flow of the natural flow of water coming down from the airport area, you know, and going through it. So the commission put a condition that there be a free space behind the building for water to flow through. And that was done. Can we keep going? Okay, stop here. Can you zoom that in, please? On the back side, the building, you can see that bubble shape there, the bubble look. That's the space set aside that the commission had to allow the water to flow through to the back. And there's a chain link fence on either end, and water can easily go through. There's also a little space on the corner of the little notch for water to go through it. There's a ponding basin right on the bottom side of that black structure of the building. So there's a ponding basin there, and those rectangles on the upper part of the site plan are percolation trenches. So, and the parking spaces on the right side that we see have a pattern. Those are the bricks that water can flow through, pervious bricks. So they've taken a lot of consideration regarding the water in the design. So there's space for the water to flow through the back. The ponding basin is on the low part right there. Then you included percolation trenches, and the parking spaces are pervious surfaces where the water can move through. But let me just, because I'm glad you brought it up. This is the picture that we took after a rainstorm. And as you can see, the building is straight in front of us. On the left side is that wall fence. That is where the water from that wall fence to the building, the water flows through there. But as you can see, and behind the flower vegetation there is the ponding basin. There, right there, here's another picture. Behind these trees is the ponding basin, right towards the wall. But I want to show this slide. The water flows down the street, and even though that space behind the building between the fence and the space is to allow water to go through it, because the area is sloping a little bit, dust and soil create a little hump, and it forms kind of like a little like a dam, so that it needs to go pretty high for the water to flow through. So Commissioner Brennan, the applicants have addressed it in terms of the commission regarding addressing stormwater flow and not blocking any existing stormwater. So they put that in place. But the flooding that may occur is because of that mound there where the grass is, and there's a little bit of a dust mound in front of that entry to the back of the building. And that is a issue that has to be addressed by public works, or if it's a street maintenance thing, not the building allows for the water flow, but the water needs to go on top of those mounds to flow through. You're welcome.
For that clarification. Any other comments or questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Benavente. I now turn it over to Chief Planner Cruz, their staff, for their presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be reading the staff report dated August 1st, 2025. The site is located along Tan Conchita Lane and Tun Jose Tovis Way, approximately 288 feet from the junction of Route 1, with a lot area of 14,854 square feet. The site is presently developed with existing health clinic facility and its accessory elements occupying the entire site. The master plan designation was mixed use, and under the community design plan, the designation was commercial. Previous commission action included a conditional use application for a medical clinic facility, which was tabled by the commission on September 24, 2009, and another conditional use also for the medical clinic facility that was approved with conditions on November 12, 2009. The application was accepted on February 14, 2025, heard by the ARC on March 6, 2025, and a public hearing was held on June 4, 2025. On to discussion and staff analysis. The applicant's request is for a zone change pursuant to section 61630, in which the commission may change the zones established whenever it finds that the public necessity, convenience, and general welfare justify such action. The applicant, in response for the zone change, submits the following justification response. Relative to public necessity, there has been an increase in the military buildup construction projects, with some of these major projects awarded to local construction firms. These projects require the professional architectural and engineering expertise to develop new building construction plans, modifications, or renovations to existing buildings. Relative to convenience, the rezoning to commercial zone will allow for the professional office use to exist, which would be readily available and easily occupied, and permits the architectural and engineering activities to operate at the site. While the current use on the property is for a health clinic, which was previously subjected under a conditional use permit, the proposed use would easily merge into the existing internal offices with minor modifications. The architectural and engineering services would be located nearby most businesses within a reasonable distance. Regarding relative to public welfare, the proposed activities will be static, meaning that the company employees will perform internal office work during normal operations. It is not anticipated that there would be an increase in traffic, since the office operation is typically staffed by personnel that will remain fixed in place, rather than the constant flow of vehicles entering and exiting the premise that a health clinic generates. The office is expected to have 7 to 9 employees, and there's sufficient parking on site to accommodate the required number of employees. There will be no additions, major modifications, or renovations to the existing structure. Based on our review and analysis of this application in reference to the zoning law, the positive response of the Tamuning Municipal Planning Council Resolution number 2025-004, and the positive response received from the ARC agencies, we find the context of the application provides justification that the public necessity, convenience, and general welfare support a positive action on the zone change request. Lastly, on to staff recommendation, planning staff recommends approval subject to the following condition: that the applicant adhere to the permitting ARC members' conditions and requirements as stipulated on their official position statement. And this concludes the staff report.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gogui. I turn it back to my colleagues in the commission to see if you have any questions for staff. I don't have any questions. Thank you very much for all that hard work. I now open the floor up for public comment at this time. Madam Mayor, please state your name.
For today, I'm Mayor Luis Rivera from the village of Tamuning, Vermont. And I'd like to, I'd like to also express our concerns about about this application, that there have been no negative testimony that has come in against this. People were informed about it. It was duly noticed. And I wanted to also let the commission know that correction will be made to the resolution that was given. There has been, it has been fully supported by the Municipal Planning Council. No objections at all. So I'm good to see that that goes through, although we have a slight correction that needs to be made on the resolution. So amended one will be forthcoming.
Thank you very much, Mayor Rivera. Any other comments? I don't see any movement. I'll go ahead and close this segment of public comment. Then turn it back to my colleagues in the commission to see if you have any other items for discussion regarding this application. I don't see any. I will now go ahead and entertain a motion for action for application number 2025-17.
I would like to make a motion to approve application number 2025-17, as long as the applicant follows the recommendations stated on the staff report dated on August 1, 2025.
Thank you very much. Motion made by Vice Chairman Pegler. Do I hear a second?
Oh, sir.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Yingling. Any discussion on this motion? Don't have any. Okay, I'll go ahead and now call for the vote. All in favor of approving the motion to approve application 2025-17, please say aye and raise your hand.
All right.
Aye. Okay. It is unanimous. The motion carries. Application 2025-17 is approved. Thank you very much, Mr. Benavente, and to the owners and to the new owners.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and members of the commission and staff.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is item 5, administrative and miscellaneous matters. I now turn the floor over to Executive Secretary Borja for additional business or announcements for the commission.
Just several items, maybe relative to the last application that went in. And I know that last application was submitted or accepted February 2025. And Celine, Chief Planner, please correct me if I'm wrong. It was submitted February 2025. And within about 3 to 4 weeks, almost all of the agencies in the application review committee turned in their position statements, except for a couple of agencies. So we not really held back the processing of this, but we had to wait for all those position statements to come in. And the 2 ones that were kind of submitted later was April and May, but almost all the other application review committee members were submitted before the review. This particular application was submitted in February, I believe, Celine. February, and it's a 6 months application that it got to your vote. So in spite of the quote-unquote delay from the other agencies, 6 months is really not that unreasonable time to process this with the requirement for public hearing. Secondly, the Joe Rios has been confirmed by the legislature. He has not been sworn in. The governor's office is scheduling a swearing in ceremony for several confirmed nominees for other boards and commissions. And then lastly, or next to last, we've had some municipalities, and I kind of addressed this to Attorney Miller. We've had some municipalities that do not want to accept the responsibility of holding a public hearing. We usually pass the public hearing into the mayors to have their own public hearing for the municipalities. But I've had a couple of mayors come up against us because they're going to do it anymore, and advised by the council on the planning councils that they don't have to hold a public hearing. A little bit of a background on that is that they were
Yes, you do.
I wanted to make sure she was here, because the reason why this was implemented is there was a previous director that was just approving the summary zone changes without almost modifying the municipality, the council, the plan council. So we decided to, previously decided to let the municipal planning council have the public hearing. But it's been a challenge, for some companies to have a public hearing. So I informed the mayor, which is Mayor Rivera, and another mayor that, submit something official to the commission, and I'll put it up to the legal council. And we don't have to do the public hearing. We don't have to waive it in favor of you hold this public hearing. We don't have to do it.
Yes,
We shouldn't do it.
Mayor Rivera, you wanted to comment on that?
Yes, thank you. I know, we're going to the executive director's report, but for the record, for the many years that I've been part of the mayor's, office, it has been brought up to our attention how, applicants are fast tracking, their applications. Some go through the legislature, some go through, the director's discretion. And so our plea out there is to not, for the director not to waive the public hearing. Let the applicants go through the process so that all the property owners around, the surrounding lot, so that they are certified, they get their certified mail, they're properly notified. That's the difference between having a public hearing with the Department of Land Management and then the public hearings required by the two public hearings from the Municipal Planning Council. Is the one from Land Management is the one that gets the certified mail out there to the property owners. And so, other applicants have come up to me and wants me to do it. I can fast track it and do it back to back because, as long as we're following the law, this, again, unfunded mandate. So if the applicant wants the project to go through, then please let it go through the process. The only problem that we were seeing was, well, with me in particular, I can do a letter and give it to you, send you, what I find out, from the residents. But they don't want that. It needs to be a resolution from the Municipal Planning Council. And at this last meeting that we had, when our legal counsel also mentioned that, it's a summary zone change, it's already done, it's at the discretion of the director. So the MPC does not need to act on it, it's done. But I like that Mr. Borja is giving us the courtesy, to go ahead and hold it, because of course, how our residents, our constituents feel, is important to us. So, we want them to be heard. And that's why we're just saying, please do not fast track that way. Do not let them go through the process. Make sure that all the property owners around them are notified of what the project is. They're made aware. Put up the signs, get their certified mail out there. So, and then we follow up and see if there's any objections or, whatever testimonies they have.
Thank you, Madam
Well,
Yes, we do.
yeah, and I understand the concern, we do have a problem. I don't think summary zone changes require certified mailing.
I think it does.
That's, what is it, $5 a letter? And a place like Tamuning, you may have 100 to 200 landowners or apartment dwellers on there. But I asked the mayor, and I'm glad I was here, that's why I kept looking. But send an official letter and the Patron will run it through legal counsel, and if we have the authority to do that or not, then we'll respond to it. But it's basically a concern, while the director has the authority to sign off on those summary zone changes. Me as a director, I live in Vergara. I don't want to be the one making a decision for the people in Tamuning.
That's why I love my mayor.
So, submit a formal letter, official one, and then we'll take it up.
Okay. Okay, so, so in regards to several applications that we come in for that, our legal counsel with our municipal planning council, does not want to act on, does not want us to, do a resolution. It's not for us to vote on, so we're not gonna do it. That's, what was brought up to me.
It's a letter, and then we'll respond.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Have a good afternoon.
And just one last thing, can we make the pointer larger and in color? Or I was a part which one away. So that little pointer will be there, that's
Thank you. And
that's it, thank you.
Yeah.
That's it.
so the orange is my yellow.
That's right.
If anyone else saw yellow. Yes.
That was the
Yeah, that was yellow. Okay. Thank you, Director Borja. I now turn the floor over to Chief Planner for the next GLUC meeting date.
That would be August 28th. So we'd like to know the availability of the commission members for that particular meeting. As soon as possible. We have to finalize, because I think we do have a few agenda items ready for review.
Thank you very much. And so you will reach back and.
Yes,
For
yes.
everyone's available. Okay. Okay.
Madam
No
Chair,
other- yes.
sorry, one more thing. Next week, the Bureau of Statistics and Plans will be holding their Assembly of Planners Symposium.
Right.
And I hope you all got an invite, but if not, I will send you the registration links via email.
They're not asking us to serve on any panel, are they?
No,
Okay.
no, not at this time. But if you're interested in attending, yeah, I know we did get a call out for topics for the agenda at one point, but yeah, I'll send the registration link in case anybody's interested in attending.
Thank you, and also sent to Mr. Rubio's.
Okay, we'll
Just in
do.
case. Okay, if there are no other announcements, I'd like it to go ahead and entertain a motion for adjournment. Thank you. Motion to adjourn by Vice Chair Benavente. Do I hear a second? Seconded by Commissioner Neely. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. It is now 2:42 on our clock. The meeting of the regular Guam Land Use Commission is hereby adjourned. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Thank you.